Alright, I'm in another fucking goofy mood, man. Whew. Just got done playing with my brother. That sounded really weird. Playing video games, people. Come on now. And I did a little bit of a workout, so I'm amped. Let's finish it off with Jurassic World. Getting ready for Jurassic World fucking Fallen Kingdom tomorrow. Whew. I literally just got done. I have workout equipment right behind here, behind the camera. And when I finish, I'll just grab my shit. And I get amped and I just sit down and I press record. It's probably bad, because that'll probably be more evidence that I do cocaine or some bullshit before I start my reviews. I have to bring that up in like every review now. I think it's fucking hilarious. Whew! Alright, so I really enjoy this movie. I think this movie is just a ton of fun. Okay, so this movie is basically what I always wanted to see ever since I saw the first one. I wanted to see a Jaws 3 scenario here, or a Westworld or something, where this shit happens when the park is actually open and filled with tons and tons of tourists. You know, more carnage. I guess that's just the messed up part of me, I suppose, because it's like more people to kill. I'm curious on what the death toll is. I wonder if they mention that in Fallen Kingdom. If we'll get like a, 22 people died in that incident or whatever. I am so curious on how many people die. I'm going to say it's higher than that, because that, like, military team that they send in, there was like 12 of those guys at least, and they killed them, and then they killed some tourists, and then they killed... So, yeah, there had to have been like at least 30 kills, right? I mean, at least. But there's probably other ones going off on the other sides of the screen. Yeah, and then the guys in the helicopter, and the guy... Yeah, there's a ton of deaths. In fact, a lot of it, there's some gruesome ass deaths in these movies. I'm surprised. PG-13, right? Yeah, PG-13, as I expected. For PG-13, man, they get away with a lot of shit. For real. Like, there's some kills in these that I'm just like, wow, like this guy just gets chomped by this. I guess because, and people have pointed this out to me before, like, when it's person-on-person violence, that makes it, I don't know, more graphic to people. And if it's like a monster or an animal or something, it's just not as graphics. I don't know, man. I'm seeing a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex rip a person in half and throw one body part this way, and like, it's pretty damn gruesome. So, but don't show a boob. Don't show a boob. Don't show the naked female form. Ooh, man, that'd get you an R rating. Wouldn't want a kid to see a boob, but let them watch carnage all day. Let them see people get murdered, and people are dumb. Anyway, okay. So this has Chris Pratt, which Chris Pratt had just come off of Guardians of the Galaxy, if I'm remembering this correctly. Yeah, and then he did this, and it was just kind of like all of a sudden Chris Pratt was like an action star. It was really weird, because it was like this, pudgier comedian, and then just out of nowhere, he became like ripped and was doing all these like action movies, and he does the freaking Magnificent Seven movie, and he's in like all these things, and now Jurassic Park, Fallen Kingdom, and he's in the Avengers, and he's in, like, it's crazy how he blew up like that, but he really plays this well. Like, he really plays the action hero so well. I don't think many people would have ever thought that back when they were following his, earlier career. So I'm all about it. I think he's fantastic in these roles. He's really funny. He's believable as the tough guy, but like that funny tough guy. I don't know. Like, he really works well. He's got a good mixture to him. And so we get these two kids, Zach and Gray. And Gray is kind of like, I don't know, autistic maybe, or something like that, or Asperger's, or I don't know what he has, or if he's just normal and he's a genius and he's just kind of socially awkward. But he talks about minutes, like he has OCD or something. He's like, it's going to take exactly this amount of minutes to get me here. And then his brother makes a comment later like, aren't you supposed to be a genius? So I don't know. He's not like Rain Man or anything. He's not acting like, Dustin Hoffman in that movie or anything. But he's off for sure. He's just a little weird. But he's a little too normal too for other things. So I'm not exactly sure what he's supposed to have. But he's got something going on. I like how Zach's going to leave. And he's got his girlfriend there. Beautiful little girl. And she's just all about him. All sparkly, doe-eyed and just... And she's like, I love you. And he's like, all right, I'll see you later. Like, yeah. Whatever about her. And then when he gets on the boat, when he gets on the plane, he's just like on every chick, just looking around. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a high school kid. He's like 16 or 17 years old. He shouldn't be fucking, if he feels like that. I'm not saying that people shouldn't date in high school. They definitely can. In fact, a lot of successful marriages come from high school relationships because they don't have anything to compare to. Working in the salon as long as I have, I ask everybody who's married, like, is this your first marriage? And 90% of the time they say, no, of course not. But the people that do say, yeah, I'm still married. Can you believe it? First marriage, we've been married forever. The good majority of time, they're like, oh yeah, we were high school sweethearts. They were like my first love. So I feel like that's a very high success rate. So I'm not getting down on that. I just think that if you are in that place where you are like, I don't know, you definitely shouldn't. So to see him be like, he should tell that girl, like, look, like, while I'm gone. But he's a high school kid. I know those guys are idiots. But I just thought that was a funny part. He's just so like, yeah, okay. And he doesn't even kiss her. She tries to like come in for a kiss. She says, I love you. And she's still like, okay. Like, oh man. If only he knew how hard it gets later on. When dating gets so much harder as you grow up. It's easy when you're in high school. So we go back to Isla Nubar or whatever. So we're back on Jurassic Park's island here. And they fly in, and Bryce Dallas Howard is supposed to pick them up, but of course she's a workaholic, and she doesn't. So an actress that plays in Supergirl as Lena Luthor, her name is Katie freaking McGrath. Yeah. And she was also in that first season of Slasher. Anybody watch that? I did the season 2 review on here. But she was in season 1. I like her. She's a beautiful girl. She has the worst death in this film. Holy shit. They just hated that character when they were writing her. They were like, I hate this bitch. I'm just gonna... She doesn't even do anything to deserve it. I feel like her death should have been attached to somebody who... Like Vincent D'Onofrio's character. Like, he should have got her death. Like, she didn't deserve to die at all. And she could have. I mean, they just needed carnage, and they needed to have a recognizable face to you to be like, oh, like, she was a sweet girl. Like, that's fine. But she didn't deserve the fucking vicious death that she got. D'Onofrio's character was the guy who deserved that one. So, it's kind of just a shame that they had to put her through the ringer like that. They go through the doors. It said they say over the intercom, like, this is the original doors from the first park, and they've built like a monorail through it. They've updated this park dramatically from Hammond's original idea. But this is, I don't even know how long this is supposed to be, because this park has been open for years and years. And Jurassic Park 3 is supposed to take place a few years after the first one. Like, I think 4 years have passed since Lost World. Then Jurassic Park 3 is at least a couple more years, because Ellie has a couple older kids, like a couple kids that are, I can't remember how old they are, but they're a little older. So, and then this is supposed to have taken place after 3, because 3 is like, they're still, InGen has everything closed down and there's nothing going on. And so they somehow went out there, renovated the whole place, built the whole place up. Hammond died, passed it off to this other billionaire, and he built the place up. Then they had everyone come out, and then it was generating all this revenue and whatever, and years had passed and they needed new dinosaurs. So I can't even imagine what year this is supposed to be set in, but I'm guessing it's got to be at least 20 years after the events of the first film, which, I mean, 1993 is the first movie to 2013. That would be 20 years right there. And this is 2014, right? 15, 14, well, I don't know, something around there, 15 maybe. So yeah, I guess that all makes sense. All right, I should probably write this stuff down but I like figuring it out right here. I literally watched the movie, played my video game, came out here and turned it on, so I haven't really put much thought into it. Let's see. I like that it's addressed that, like, kids and people just aren't impressed with dinosaurs anymore when they come out, and they're just like, it's getting old to them. Like, they look at them like they look at an elephant or whatever. And it's like, I know that that's true. Like, I know that if we created dinosaurs and we had people come out and look at them, I do believe after a while, and I mean, I get it, but after a while, people would just be like, And it's kind of like what, Owen says, or Chris Pratt's character. He's like, dinosaurs, wow enough. Which they changed that line from how it's delivered. I like the way that it's delivered in the trailer. I don't like how it's delivered in the movie as much. It's too fast. And the other one, it was more comedic. It had better timing. That's very weird when they have alternate takes in trailers that really work well, and then they put them in the movie and they're like rushed and they're different, but they're the exact same lines, and you're just like, why? It's happened with tons of movies. Rogue One did it, like a bunch of movies where I was just like, but that worked so much better the other way. It's the same line, it's in the same spot. I don't get it. Make that make sense to me. I'll never understand that. Anyway. So B.D. Wong's character returns here. Henry, right? Henry Wu, I think. Dr. Henry Wu. I think that's right. And they're messing around with genetic splicing here. So they need a bigger, badder, more teeth, cool, as the billionaire calls it, or tells him that he wants. And Bryce Dallas Howard is in this as Claire, and Bryce Dallas Howard. I haven't seen a ton of things with her, but the episode of Black Mirror that she did, that's kind of like it's kind of like a play on Instagram, Facebook, like all the likes and whatever. Oh my God, that episode is fan-freaking-tastic. I think it's called like Free Fall. Is that what it is? Because she's like plummeting on her likes and whatever. I love that episode. And she was like in an interview and said that gave her like she had like a mental breakdown or something because of it, because she went so into it. Which you can see in the episode. She's just lost her mind. So she shows some incredible range in that episode. So I like her a lot. Where am I? And Judy Greer is in this for like a minute. She's Zach and Gray's parent, like their mom, and she's gonna be little Laurie Strode's daughter in the new Halloween, so I'm looking forward to that. And as I said, Vincent D'Onofrio's in this, and he plays the villain. And that brings me to something first I want to talk about here with the whole villain. Like, on the surface, like just from like watching it, like kind of just like sitting back and really just watching the film unfold and just watching the carnage that's taking place, it seems like the dinosaurs are the, antagonists here. And while they kind of are, who are the real villains of this world, this universe that they live in? Is it the scientists, or is it InGen? Like, and they kind of work hand in hand. We find that out at the end here, but the scientists are who originally created them. Because there's something that I was really feeling throughout this film, and kind of throughout the rest of them as well, but this one especially, and I think it was towards the end where I really started to feel it. I feel bad for these dinosaurs. Truly. Like, this Anonymous Rex or whatever that they freaking unleash onto this thing. Like, this thing doesn't know what it is. It was bred this way. It doesn't know any better. Like, it's just been released. It's trying to get free of captivity, and when it gets out there, it does what it knows to do. Like, and that's not there. It's not cannibalizing anybody. Like, yes, it's killing other dinosaurs, and it did kill its other fucking. He ate his brother or whatever, or she ate her brother or sister or sibling. I think they just say sibling, so I think they're trying to still make them all girls. But yeah, like, it would be basically like if we were to watch a movie on humans right now, it would look like we had a fucking, concentration camp for cows. Like, that's the way, that's truly what's happening. I'm not trying to preach here or anything. I know, but that's, if you look at it like that, like, there's like a genocide going on cows for men. So I can't really look at the dinosaurs killing people at the same way as like people killing people. That kind of goes earlier to what I was saying about like an R rating. But I see the animals, I see the dinosaurs in this as kind of the victims of the movie, as well as the people who end up getting killed. But yeah, InGen, like D'Onofrio's character, BD Wong's character, those are the real villains in this movie. Yeah, they don't kill anybody, but they do, right? I mean, especially BD Wong's character, like Henry Wu, Dr. Wu, whatever. He designed these things and let them loose. So, I was really thinking about that, and I'll get kind of just a little bit more into that. Not too much, because I already rambled a little more than I wanted to. I like that they have sponsors. Verizon is sponsoring the Adonis Rex. Oh God, that's such a human thing to do. So fucking stupid. I like that this is a sequel, or a spiritual sequel, successor, or whatever, because it's not like a direct sequel with all like reoccurring characters or anything. No one comes back from the original films, but we get a John Hammond statue. We get the original park shows up in this movie, which is awesome. I love when he pulls up the banner, when dinosaurs ruled the earth or whatever. I love that they find that. I thought that was such a great callback to the original, and I love that they went the sequel route as opposed to the reboot, which people are like, oh, this is just kind of like a remake of the first one. No, it isn't. This movie is nothing like the first movie. I don't understand when people say that. Like, what about this movie is like it, except for the dinosaurs get loose while people are visiting the park? Outside of that, man, there is very little similarities here. Like, yes, there's some little tiny things. Like, there's people in a control booth that are trying to help, but so like small. It's such small little things. It's a dramatically different film. So I don't agree at all. But who cares? Yeah. So Hammond gave over his company to this Masrani guy, and he only cares about like satisfaction of the people. He's just like, don't talk to me about money. And he actually quotes him. He's like, he was more about the people. He said, he always said, his famous line of like, freaking spared no expense or whatever. I love that. I love that he passed it on to a guy that wants to keep up Hammond's original vision of like, this is all about the people. I want them to have fun. I want them to be in awe. I want them to constantly be blown away by what's going on here and having such a fantastic experience. So I like that they made that character like that. And Chris Pratt's character, Owen, he's kind of like a Steve Irwin crocodile hunter here, and he's training the raptors. And I think that it looks silly, sort of, in the idea of the raptors being trained to be killers for the government and all that. Like, it sounds silly, but honestly, I think that if they did breed raptors and especially raptors, I was going to say T-Rexes and all these other ones, but I do believe they would try to figure out a way to send them into combat zones and control them and whatever. So I do not think this is far-fetched. I mean, yes, we're bringing dinosaurs back from fucking extinction, so that's kind of far-fetched. But if they could, I do think absolutely that you would see that. Like, you would see them try to do it. We wouldn't see it. It would be like, underground shit. But regardless, I just absolutely believe that to be true. So Where am I? The kid's riding the Triceratops. Oh my god, people are so stupid. The huge dinosaur. It's not even a dinosaur. I looked this up. Where is it in my notes? I wrote it down. A Mosasaurus, or whatever. The big crocodile-looking thing that's out in the water that comes up and eats the shark. That's not supposedly not a dinosaur. It's like a giant lizard or something. I thought that was interesting. But that thing's terrifying, man. Holy shit! That water exhibit. Whoo, baby. And then like the chair, like the seats all go down underwater and they see it all going. Jesus Christ, the amount of money that would have to be put into that park is crazy. And I was saying, like in the first one, they would have to bring like full cruises out there, which they do in this movie. It makes sense. And I like that this whole genetic splicing thing. I mean, it's funny because it's kind of a goof on the film itself, in addition, like to the in-universe reason of like, we need to make this animal like this so that it's more exciting for people who have already seen the dinosaurs from the past. So it's like, we're doing this for the audience, but in universe, we're doing this for the crowd as well. So as I said, it's kind of a little wink, like, you guys have already seen 3 movies with all the same dinosaurs. Yes, they brought in the Spinosaur Egyptus or whatever, but they needed like a new hybrid thing. That thing actually kind of looked a lot like the Egyptus, but probably just a little bit bigger. It looks like a raptor and a T-Rex had a baby, which we find out later. Yeah, it's part raptor, so it makes sense. It has like all the advantages, and it has long arms and big thick claws and 100 teeth. He bites the tracking out. He's so smart she's so smart. She goes and she makes it look like she escaped. She hides her thermal signature, and then once they come in, she attacks so that they'll open up the doors. And she gets out, and then she runs amok, and she bites her tracker out, and then stays around the tracker. I mean, that's pretty out there. I mean, I totally understand that she could possibly like figure out where the tracker was and bite that out because she knows it's foreign to her body. But all the other stuff, it's like, I don't know. Maybe if there's part raptor and the raptors are supposed to be that smart, maybe, because in the first one the raptors keep attacking the fence in different places. So I'm guessing it just got the intellect of the raptors, but some of that just seems a little much. But as I said, we're talking about a film where we got dinosaurs, so you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, the fact they bring out non-lethals, dumbasses. And the Indominus Rex. I love when he makes fun of that. A lot of great humor in this. A lot of humor. Pretty much all the humor that is there lands for me, especially Chris Pratt's. I thought all of that was excellent. And I don't know what those animals. I'm just kind of going by the I don't know dinosaurs very well explanation. The ones with the long necks, I know them as either brontosauruses or brachiosauruses. They're probably a different one altogether. I don't know, but the long neck ones, like Littlefoot, in this one, when Owen finds the one down and Claire comes over, because Claire thinks of them, she calls them as assets, and she calls them all these different things, and he's just like, do you listen to yourself? Like, you don't even think of these as living creatures. And I like that scene because it's the first time she realizes in that moment, like, oh shit, like this thing's alive. Like, I've just been looking at them as property. I've been looking at them almost as like animatronics in a theme park. And yeah, I like that intimate scene of watching that thing die. It's sad as shit, of course, but it is a human moment for her. And before that, she's very robotic. So she's kind of just void of any emotion towards these animals. And now she has that feeling inside, like, I get it now. And so yeah, they go off and they find the old Jurassic Park, which I thought was really cool. But then they just grab a battery from that broken down car, little four-wheeler thing, and they go over and start up one of those Jeeps. No. No, no, I'm sorry. Tires would be flat. The gas wouldn't be good anymore. There's so many reasons why that would not work, but it doesn't matter. It's all it takes, man. A battery. The car's been out of commission for 20 years, and a battery will start it right on up. Sure. Like the kid, like when he comes up and he's like, how'd they even get this thing started? And it's like, they didn't. Okay? This is fantasy. There's no fucking way. 20 years a car has been sitting there in the middle of a jungle, mind you. It wouldn't even matter where it was, but I'm just saying it's so ridiculous. That's actually one of the most ridiculous of all the things that are happening in this movie. That's actually the almost number one on my that's fucking so ridiculous. I can't even look past it. That's just dumb. I'm sorry. They should have just had that fucking four-wheeler that they found. They took the battery out of. They should have found that thing and drove it off. Like, why? A 1993 Jeep Wrangler that's been there for, no. Dumb decision. Then they bring the helicopter in with the freaking minigun, basically, and they could have cut that thing to shreds with that gun, but they took up a guy that doesn't even have his fucking helicopter pilot license, and is the richest man. He's probably worth more than everyone in the park combined. That's pretty silly, but takes them up and they let out I know they're not pterodactyls, but that's the only fucking flying dinosaur name I know. So the pterodactyl-like dinosaurs. I saw the name for like half a second on one of the shirts or whatever, and I was like, and I couldn't remember it. So whatever those things are, they get out and they knock down the thing and they crash and burn, and he runs off. That damn dinosaur, man, he eludes a lot of explosions and fire and whatnot. And then I like how when those flying dinosaurs are coming down in, and there's a scene. It's like super quick, like half a second, and like blinking you'd miss it. This guy grabs both of his like margaritas or whatever and like runs off. Like he's almost gonna die, and his first impulse is to grab his drinks and run. I thought that was funny. I'm sure that's probably like somebody who was working on the film and they threw it in there as a joke. It's probably like Colin Trevorrow himself. I couldn't get a good look at the guy's face, but it's a pretty fucking funny scene. I have to believe it's an in-joke. Like, did you see it? Did you see it? And the train, the motorcycles with the Raptors. I think that's where some people in the theater were probably like, "Oh Jesus!" But it's like, I don't know. It works. It's fun for the film. I mean, shit, they put it on the cover of the fucking movie, so I thought it was cool. And the whole like jokes going on between Gray and Zach about like, we want to stay with you, and she's like, I'm never leaving you again. And he's like, no, I mean him. Like, you're him. And then they see him on the bike, and they're like, boyfriend's a badass. And she's like, that's my best impression I got. It's not even close. And I like how the guy has a rocket, because one of the Raptors gets hit by a rocket, and earlier when the Indominus come out and the Raptors turn on him because they find out he's half Raptor, and he's like, hey, I'm one of you, like, go get him. That was his mouth talking. I don't even think that was out of frame. Never mind. I didn't even need to explain that. He runs off, and he gets, and they start firing on the fucking on the Indominus and Adonis, whatever. They start firing on him, and then as he's like ran away and almost out of the way, a guy fires a rocket at him and just misses him. And it's like, shouldn't that have been the first thing you fired? And shouldn't you have fired it like the second he made his appearance, like as soon as he was in front of you? Why did they wait for the Raptors to act? Like, you have a clean shot with a rocket launcher. Come on, man. And then he uses the second rocket on a fucking Raptor. Like, gotta go for the big one, man. And BD Wong, yeah, what a sellout. They kind of, they sold his character out in this. Now, after 20-something years from the first one, we find out that he's just in it for the money. So that's a shame. But as I said, he's kind of one of the villains, too, of the first one, because he created the damn things. They couldn't have done it without him. I like the "we need more teeth" line, and her going and grabbing a flare and bringing that to you, like, and having the dude. That's such a funny scene when that dude's like going, he's like, someone needs to stay behind, and he goes and tries to kiss that chick, the cute little nerdy chick, and she's like, whoa, I have a boyfriend. I love that. It's so fucking anticlimactic for him, and it's a really good, funny scene. But he opens up that gate 9 or whatever for her, and she's standing in front of the paddock with a freaking flare and the T-Rex. That's such a great shot of her with the flare down and the T-Rex walking towards her, and its eyes are like lit up, glowing, and then she runs off. I think that thing would have caught her. She probably should have ran way before that. Like as soon as the paddock was open, she should have took off, and it would have stuck its head out, and she could have been waving the thing. But whatever, it's a cool scene. It looks cool. And then she brings it in, and then we get a kick-ass fight scene. I love that fight scene. Like, those poor Raptors, man. The Raptors come in, like, you know, Owen's like, hey, like, you know, I know you. And then they turn back to his side, and they all three attack him. And then he grabs one, chomps on him, and throws him into the fire. The thing blows up and burns him up. Poor little Raptor. And then the next one comes on his back and grabs him and chomps him and throws him too. Oh, it's so sad. And then the other, you know, Blue is the only one left. And then the T-Rex and Blue team up on this guy. I love it, man. I love that whole sequence, like the fight, and then the T-Rex is pinned and he's about to kill him, and then Blue comes out and he comes in, he jumps on his back and he starts clawing at his eyes, and then the T-Rex grabs his neck and they throw him and he fucking breaks the little, you know, railing partition thing in between the water effect and the land, and then he's laying there, and you know what's gonna happen, but it's still so awesome. That freaking Mosasaurus or whatever comes up and grabs his ass and pulls him into the water, and then like the T-Rex and the Raptor look at each other and they're like, we good, bro? We good, bro? And he's like, we good, and they like turn off and they go their separate ways. Little truce, little truce between the dinosaurs. But yeah, I just feel so bad for them in that scene. Like, it's funny how earlier in the movie, like, Owen's going on about like, you don't care about these animals and this and that, but he like sends multiple ones to their death. And that T-Rex, after she has her moment and everything, she goes and grabs the T-Rex. Yes, they needed him, but they had to think that plan may not have went the way they wanted it to. Just let the T-Rex out, and the T-Rex and him could have teamed up, or they could have fought each other, and whoever died, it would have been like that tagline from Alien versus Predator, like, whoever wins, we lose. It probably would have ended up like that. Like, the T-Rex, or they're done, and it's like, they kill each other, and then one of them's just like, all right, and anyway, back to you, chomp, 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 credits. That would have been pretty funny. Anyway, boom! Done, man. I'm really looking forward to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom tomorrow. I will be seeing that at 7 o'clock, and I will report back as soon as I can. That movie's already made $400 million overseas, and it hasn't even been released here yet. That movie is going to make tons of money. So let's hope it's good and worth it, because freaking Solo did terrible, and I really enjoyed the shit out of that movie. So quality is never, you know, indicative of gross. So, oh well. All right, guys, that was fun. It was fun revisiting all of these. And as I said, I look forward to the next one tomorrow. All right.